Why, hello everybody, and welcome to a bit of a different video today. You see, I saw this video, well, quite a while ago, and I decided that I should probably do a reaction to it. Now, this is a video about this guy saying BC Fairies is rubbish, and as you can see here, I made this whole argument, and just basically talking about why it all sucks. And then, of course, his reply: people like you are exactly why this video exists. People who know more about what we're talking about and who have seen the BC terrain. Yeah, but yeah, I decided I wanted to react to this just to disprove everything because it constantly annoys me every single time I think about all the points in this video because they're just so dumb. And once I explain the context of this video and the guy who made it, then it'll be extra dumb, this whole thing. Also, this was posted on April 1st, but this guy has made it clear multiple times, other than on April 1st, that this was a coincidence, and that he does actually think this stuff. So, with that, let's get into the video.
BC Fairies exemplifies everything that is wrong with transport in North America, and that is because they are so slow. Like, look at this thing. This has a top speed of 25 miles an hour.
Bro, that is actually that is average. Actually, that is faster than average speed for most ships. Bruh, he's probably never even seen a video of a BC Ferry. Also, some context, the reason he made this video is because someone on Discord, I won't name names, but if you're on my Discord or you know me, you'll know who it is. This guy knows him as well, and he thought he was really annoying, so he made this video. But, so, yeah, I don't know if he's doing this on purpose. He has to be. It literally says right there, knots, and he's like, oh my goodness, 22 miles an hour. Oh my goodness.
Are you serious? Let's look at this one. 23 miles an hour?
Where does it say 23 miles per hour? It says 20.
Are you kidding me? Okay, let's look at this one. This one's called the Queen of Cucumbers.
Okay, that's kind of funny, him saying the Queen of Cucumbers.
14 miles an hour? Come on!
Okay, that is not 14, that is 12. Maybe I'm getting a conversion wrong, maybe, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Also, that is average. That ship does not have a very long route. It does its route just fine with the speed that it can go, and yeah, it doesn't need to go faster, so it won't.
Not to mention that this thing looks hideous.
It looks like most ferries in the world, which is kind of weird. It doesn't really look unique, and it's really boxy. So, yeah.
You know, one thing that I've noticed with...
Okay, now that is a funky-looking boat. Although I do kind of like it, but it is a very funky-looking boat.
BC Ferries is that a lot of their ferries are not only slow, but they're also very old. To put into perspective of how old their
Hey, I went on this ship.
ferries are, here's the Queen of New Westminster. This thing was built in 1964. You know what was also built in 1964? The Shinkansen Zero series. And the interesting thing about the Shinkansen Zero series is that if you want to see this thing for yourself, you have to go to a museum. But as for the Queen of New Westminster, you don't have to go to a museum to see this thing, because it's still in revenue service! Why?
Because it's historic. Also, there's actually a very good economic reason for the Queen of New Westminster to stay in service. It's because BC Ferries is having a staff shortage right now, and so having a ship like this means that they can have a fully staffed ship with the capacity of some of the other ships in the fleet, except with less crew. And yeah, when we were on the ship, actually, they have such a staff shortage that even on the ship today, not everything is open. Like, if you look at my video, the Coastal Cafe Express wasn't open. That's where you can get, like, coffee and stuff. Also, he kind of shot himself in the foot when he was talking about, oh, it's so old and the Shinkansen is retired. Why is the Shinkansen retired? Because it's... Well, I was gonna say because it's old, because it's outdated, it's not useful, and it just would not work in the current day. However, the Queen of New Westminster has been renovated multiple times. Therefore, it's very, very easy for this ship to keep on operating in the modern climate. It is going to be retired in a couple of years, unfortunately, but I really hope it can have some sort of new future other than the scrapyards. It realistically probably will be the scrapyards.
This thing is nearly 60 years old. Ridiculous. And they're not even hiding it either. This thing is part of what's called the Century Class. You know why it's called the Century Class? Because it'll take you a century to get to where you want to go on.
Okay, so there's another reason behind that. It's not that the ferry goes average speed for most ferries as well, like I said. But the main reason it takes you a century to get to where you want is just because BC ferries are often late. So yeah, that's why it takes you a century to get to where you want to go. But yeah, there's a whole song about that.
This thing. I mean, these things are so slow that they would lose a race to Stephenson's rocket, which is built in 1829.
Okay, that is because air physics and water physics work very differently. It's a lot easier to move through air than it is through water. And also, ferries are actually shaped so that they're more efficient at those speeds. So, at the speed that it goes at, it's very fuel efficient, which is another reason that it goes that speed. But if it went faster, I still don't think they could have done it. I pointed out to him in the comments, BC Ferries had high-speed ferries called Pacificats, but the wake they made was so big that it was damaging the BC coasts and also endangering nearby ships. So, yeah, they can't go faster. Also, not every ship is a hydrofoil. To my knowledge, I don't even know if there are any car-carrying hydrofoils. BC Ferries needs to be able to carry cars, and for that, it's really hard to make high-speed ferries. High-speed car ferries do exist, but they're just not practical for the routes that they do. This guy knows nothing about ships because he spends all of his time talking about trains.
Fine. Take that for what you will. Some of their routes don't even make any sense either. I mean, look at this one. This one runs right next to land. Why run a ferry through here? You could build a railroad right next to it. I mean...
Okay, this is extremely dumb. So you can see on the map right here, I'm beginning to think that this might actually be an April Fool's after all. Okay, yeah, I'm having a dilemma. On the one hand, this video is so dumb, it has to be an April Fool's. On the other hand, though, this guy has repeatedly said that he holds true to all these beliefs, but there's just no way he can believe that. He is American, though, so take that for what you will. Anyways, you can see on the map it stops in many parts. That is why it does that route. Also, because, let me pull up some photos, it's an incredible view when you go through there. You're getting your money's worth. And, wait.
Land. Why run a ferry through here? You could build a railroad right next to it. I mean, we're at a point...
No, you could not. You could technically, but it would be very, very expensive. In order to build a ferry line, all you need is one stop, a ferry, another stop, and then maybe some existing infrastructure like a town and stuff, which you wouldn't have to pay for because they already exist, and then some workers to pay. That is a lot cheaper than a railroad because you have to clear land to build the railroad. You have to build the trains, the stations, and the crew, just like a ferry and stuff. But yeah, it's mostly just building miles and miles of rail when the ocean is right there for free. Trains can only go where rails are, which is not a lot of places, and meanwhile, ships can go to 75% of the planet's surface.
Where most commuter trains.
Oh, and also, here's a photo of the BC terrain. Try building a railroad through this. There are only a couple of places where you could build a railroad, and they're all taken.
Are faster than BC ferries. And somehow, there was a community of people
also went on this one
who take an interest in BC ferries. I don't know what is so interesting about these old relics, but somehow they have their fans. When the Main Queen boat was about to retire, someone even went as far as wearing a Main Queen costume. Like, imagine it's Halloween and you decide to dress up as a stupid boat of all things. And the rest of the people in this photo are pretty good sum up of this community. Old people who don't know anything about modern technology, and young people who don't even know what modern technology is. What a joke. Speaking of the main queen...
Let me just, And for some reason, there's a community of people who take interest in trains. I don't know what is so special about these old relics, but they have their fans. Also, people who work on trains know nothing about modern technology because planes exist. Also, hydrofoils and all those other modern things exist, like buses and cars and things.
Speaking of the main queen itself, this might be the worst one of them all. It has a top speed of a whopping 16 miles an hour, and on top of that, it is quite possibly the stupidest looking thing ever. I mean, this thing looks so ugly that it could give the Fiat Multipla a run for its money. And don't even get me started on the interior.
Okay. Let me just say something. The guy who he made this video for loves the main queen, yet I made an entire video about why this ship is so average looking, and just, it looks like the most average ferry ever. And it's literally, it looks like a barge that someone put a tower on. That's all. Also, I will admit the interior does look very ugly. Looks like an Amtrak station or like an airport.
Look at those horrible seats. They didn't even attempt. Let's look at one of their more recent boats.
Okay, the more recent boats, they still look pretty average in terms of ferries, but the hull art on them is really, really cool.
This one is part of the Salish class, and actually looks pretty cool if you ask me. I like the exterior paint job, and
finally, he said something cool about BC Ferries.
The interior isn't half bad either. The seats are not good color, but at least they're better than this filth. So surely they improved the top speed, right?
Okay, are you kidding me? So this guy finally goes on a tangent about how he likes the Salish class, and that they are actually pretty decent, which he should look at the interiors of some of the other bigger ships and things like that. But yeah.
17 miles an hour!
He ruins his good streak with, like, just ranting on about the speed. It is genuinely annoying. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's using miles per hour conversion. Is he? I don't know. But if he isn't, then that is just so stupid, because he can't even read numbers. He's that American.
Oh my god! How
and now he turned Australian for a second.
slow can you possibly go? Oh, you gotta be...
What? Is that the cable ferry? Is that cable ferry BC Ferries has? Oh my god. Okay, I can completely agree with him on this one. 9 knots, are you kidding me? Although I bet it has a really... Actually, yeah, it does have a really short route. It probably doesn't need to go faster. But also, that is just the weirdest looking ferry ever. I don't know what to say. Alright. Now, let me just go to
YouTube Premium is ad-free.
No! Alright, I'm just gonna have it paused on this area, and I'm gonna go through some context as well. So this guy's a really big rail fan. Also, like I said, he only made this video because a friend of his, who's also on my Discord server... Actually, no, he's not on my Discord server, but I know him on Discord. He constantly talks about BC Ferries, and it is really, really annoying. And so, he made this video because he was just annoyed by him, which I can understand, but he should at least make it apparent that he's joking, because he is not. Also, this guy lives in Rhode Island. I don't know much about the terrain in Rhode Island, but I do know that it is not like what you can see in the background over here. So, he doesn't know a thing about mountains. Also, he has said that he's been on ferries and that they're really slow. Still, he doesn't know the average speed of ships, which is normal. BC Ferries don't need to go faster because they have a good capacity, and also they can't build a bridge or tunnel across it because that is just too expensive. Not every country can afford to make a Macau bridge. In short, he's obviously out of touch, is maybe doing this for an April Fool's joke, and if you see this, write in the comments, or actually no, go to his video and write in his comments. I'll link the video in the description so that you can go to his comments and put in your own rebuttals. But yeah, this was just something that was annoying me, and I thought that I'd talk about it. So, yeah. See you later.